Good day, students. Today, I want to teach you an important aspect of programming concept that you need to know. We call it typing systems. I'm teaching this under Survey of Programming Languages. Because in Survey of Programming Language, we are expected to review a whole lot of things in programming languages. So what is typing system? Typing system is actually used in programming to determine how variables are assigned types and how types rules are enforced. What do we mean by that, and what are the different typing systems in computer programming? We have what we call strongly typed languages or loosely strongly typed languages and loosely typed languages. Strongly typed languages and loosely typed languages / weakly typed languages. Loosely typed languages and weakly typed languages can be used interchangeably to mean or refer to similar things. When we say that a language is strongly typed, it means that such languages enforces type rules. It strictly enforces type rules. That is to say, if there is any type mismatch, it results to an error or errors. What are examples of such language? There are many languages that are under this typing system. Since we are paying special attention to Python, we always use Python where it's necessary so that we can demonstrate the examples in real time. Python, Java, and C#. I told you that C# is similar to Java. I love this language. I think this after Visual Basic, the next language I worked very well with is Java. And when I tried to play around C#, I discovered that Microsoft C# is Microsoft proprietary version of Java. So if you like, they go side to side. You discover that they are very similar with some little syntax that based on um, their own rules. So what do we mean by this strictly typed? It means that if there is any type mismatch, there should be an error. So we have other typing system that is called statistical type. We get to it and dynamically type. So I won't like you to mistake because there is little kind of confusion here earlier in Python. So we try to say that Python is not statically typed, it's dynamically typed, in the sense that it's not a must that you must declare, it's not a rule that the variable must be declared before use. As you can see in Java. Java, there must be a declaration. What do I mean by that? Let me just demonstrate that. Let me just demonstrate that in using Jupyter Notebook. We add a cell. For instance, if it's Java, because though this group are the same, Python and Java is in the same group in this strictly type. But when you come to statically type and dynamically type, if you want to put it side by side, you can put strongly typed and loosely typed. So when you come to these two classification, Python and Java falls in strictly type, which we are going to demonstrate. Whereas when you come to statically type and dynamically type, Java and Python are in different classes. That is to say that in Python is a dynamical type language in the sense that this error, if there is an error in syntax or in type, it will only be shown at runtime. The Java, it shows as compiler. You can proceed with such error. It is going to be shown at compile time. But for Python, which is a dynamical type language, it shows at runtime. Example, when you are writing Python program, if you want to declare a variable, this was in Python as was shown. Let's say a equal to 5, b equal to, let's say 6. You can decide to print this at once inside a print statement, or you have a variable that will sum it false before printing it. So if you print this here, it was and give you a result. But if it's a Java programming language, you must tell us what this type is. It is enforced in the rule that you will declare this as a variable and separate the delimiter. This is a Python. This is a Python program. This is a Java program, Java statement. This is a Java statement. I'm not using the comments in this. So let us demonstrate with Python to show that it is a strongly typed language that indicates type error at runtime. Let's say we have this little declaration. Here we have we assign a string here. This is an integer. Hash is used. Go through the Python book if you have it, or use online resources to see how to the types, the different types in the different keywords that is used in Python. So hash is used to show comments, single line comment. But if you want to use in Python, we use this. In Java, we use this as a single line comment. So, but if you want to use a single line comment or multi-line comment in Python, you use this. So whatever you put here, this is for us to demonstrate typing system. So everything here is a comment. So now, let's say we want to concatenate this. In Python, if you do, okay, let's have another variable, C, and C is an integer 2, 10. So let's print this, print. You can decide to do this here. You can decide to have, let's say, another variable, Z. It's not a rule to put space, but it's just a convention to make your program look neat. You can say Z equals A plus C. Here you come and say print Z. You print Z. Let's run this program. You see that it printed 15. So we can come here and do another. You can do the concatenation inside the print statement, or you have a different variable. Let's do another output. Let's try to print and at the same time do the concatenation inside here. So let's say we have a want to concatenate A, or add. Let's use add, the word that is you commonly know. So what in programming, concatenation means adding or summing variables, one or two variables. A plus B here. So you see the way you can have an assignment statement here first, then print the variable that you assign the the expression. I told you this is an expression. Here is an expression. Equal to is an operator, and here is a variable which can be called an identifier. So you can have this, and the entire statement here is called an assignment statement. I don't know what you have done previously in your introduction to computer, so I'm getting you back to your introduction to computer. So, but you can find some of these things in my book, uh, Python program, Python programming for data, mastering Python for data science and machine learning. So all these things are explained there. So you print this. If you try to print this, run this program and see what will happen. It will show you that is a type error. You get it here because Python is a strongly typed language. It does not do automatic type conversion, or what we call explicit type conversion, or what we call cohesion. 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 Let me write it for you to see. Cohesion is a conversion type. Maybe some languages will just explicitly convert it. If it's a loosely type language, it will explicitly do the cohesion, or explicitly convert, or automatically convert this and concatenate it as A is 5, B is 10. It will just give you a result of 510. If it's strictly is a loosely or weakly type language. Because Python is not such type, fall within that loosely or weakly typing system. So that is what we mean by strongly typed language. So we can also try to run this code. Let's try to run this. This is the same code with what I've just demonstrated. But the difference in this one is this, the style of writing on this one is different. We said during our programming paradigm class that Python is a multi-paradigm programming language. So you can write it in different type. So the same thing here, you can demonstrate it using a function. To declare a function in Python, use a def, then the name of the function, then you now indicate the type. You might decide to use this way. It might be just show the type this way, or just write the type. Then when you are passing the this thing, but because we want to use a function, we have to enforce the type here within this argument here. You have to enforce the type, because enforcing the type will make this automatically to be integer. So if you try to run this code, let's put this in the comment so that it doesn't show error. Let's know exactly the error is showing, whether it's the error from the copy and paste, because sometimes you copy and paste, it will not be in the wrong structure. Because in Python is not like a Java that you use a curly braces to indicate a structure. It's just written that way, but you must indent your certain aspect. Like for this div is a function. Whatever that comes uh, inside it within this scope, the statement that within this scope of the function must be indented. So if I don't comment this now, it's showing an error. This definitely is going to show an error, as we have seen in the concatenation of empty and string. So, but I want to know, since I copied this, I didn't type it, I want to know the actual error that will show. You see that another error is showing. So you want to make sure that I put this program in a way that, because Python, you must make sure that you follow the format of writing to avoid unnecessary error. So because I didn't type it, I tendency of getting some unnecessary errors, which I don't know where it's coming from. So let's try to execute it. What is it saying? Syntax error. Okay. This one is not. If I did not comment this, I won't really know the type of error, because I copied this. I want to save time by copying. So it's showing syntax error somewhere here. This will raise a type error. It's giving pointing here, but I did not see this is not an error. This is not an error. So I just commented this. Then I've seen, okay, when you declare a function in Python, you use this delimiter to show that it's a function. See, colon. There was a colon here, but I removed that colon. You have to learn to debug. Once you know how to program operate, you should be able to debug. So you see the syntax error, line 6. Where is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's showing an error at line 6. What is this line 6 trying to show? So before we execute this, let's try to use the function to show that when you do this concatenation, it will work. Okay, I've removed all the things that are showing error. It's giving a wrong error message. The error message not really spot out what is the problem. So this is the same program. If you look at this is the same code with this one written here. But this one now you're trying to use another style, another paradigm. This is a function. This is put it in a function, functional paradigm, and call out the function. So when you define a function, you put the argument within the function. Here I use a return keyword. This is a statement using return a plus b, just like maybe you are trying to say sum equal to a plus b, or z equal to a plus b. So this function return the sum. You see, that's what this thing is doing. Then the next now, you see that this is indented. It's indented. So in Python, since we don't use curly braces as a block of function, like in Java, in C Sharp, in C, or you want to create a function, you use a curly brace. Use this curly brace to separate it between here and here, but it's not like that in Python. So the only thing you have to show the scope of that function is just give just one indentation here. So now it is this return A plus B that is under this function. So the next line calling the function will have to be in the same line with this function keyword. So I print it. So that is you can now print the version that will show an error. Add underscore numbers. They must be the same. Any mistake here, this is the name of the function. If you don't get it right, it will not show you good results. 5. Then this 10 now, we try to put it, make it a string by putting it in quotes. So if you try to print this now, no, note, I have put another error. This one is saying syntax error. If it's a type error, it's going to show type error. But what show here is syntax error. That means there's something I'm missing somewhere. Okay, it's pointing here. I did not add this thing. I did not add the other bracket. So this print is a function which is a function is covered in parentheses. So, and I'm calling this function directly. You can decide to have these things separately here. I can decide to have these things separately here. I can decide to call this. I think, yes, this is possible. I can decide to call this sum equal to, then, and pass this function inside here. Then I print the sum. So let me do it to the one that we execute. Let me do it to the one that we execute. Let me do it. Let me put this in a comment. As a comment, let me put this as a comment. Then try to execute this one. You see, the program still executes. So you can do it that way. You can just sum this, then print it this way. So, but look at what we are trying to do now. What we are trying to do now is we are trying to have print the one that will give us an error. The one that will give us an error. Here we put our add underscore numbers, that is call a function, pass this parameter there, but this one we put it as string to show that it's treated type language. So now when we try to execute this program, we see that the first print we execute giving us the result of 15, while the second that has a type mismatch will show us a type error. So you see, this is not a syntax error added by me. This is a type error. So sometimes when you're trying to copy code somewhere and make sure that it's in good order to avoid showing an error. I don't know why it is showing error. So let's put the one that will not show us error C. So these are the things that you get to find out when you are demonstrating in real time. So I've demonstrated this. This I think is clearer now what real type language is. So get it that Java and Python are in the same class here, but there is a place where they will not be in the same class. So loosely or weakly type language, there is automatic type conversion or explicit. Typical languages are JavaScript, PHP. You see, when you do this thing in JavaScript, this is a JavaScript code. Those are good in JavaScript. You should know that this is JavaScript code. So it's giving us this plus this is giving us one code. It's just does a concatenation. So we see it continues. This one is C language. You see, even in weakly type language, you can observe some undefined behaviors, because here this is just a pointer. Star Y in C. I use C in programming my microcontroller, so Understand C language also good. So you can use both C language in as a higher level language for general programming. You can also use the embedded C type in microcontroller programming. So I understand this very, very well. So here I know that in C can do what we call pointer referencing. Whenever you use this star, it means that it's pointing at the address of the memory. We have told in your operating system, I believe, in operating system, you talk about memory, different how memory are arranged in contiguous form. So inside the bus, you have the value. Then outside the bus, you have address of that particular memory space. So this is what you use to refer, and it's trying to concatenate it. This is an undefined behavior in C. So weakly type language will just allow it, but we show as an error when you try to execute that code. Then we look at dynamically typed language. You place this side by side with a statically typed language. You first of all look at that statically typed language and dynamically typed. So what does it mean? It means that checks are done at compile time, meaning that errors are caught before execution. So if is that thing we demonstrated, um, uh, if this we just demonstrated in Python. So if it's in Java, it will indicate once you just do this and you try to go to the compile that Java program, it will show you that there is an error, there is a type error. It will not allow you to finish compiling. Maybe when you now try to run it the way we are now running this thing, it show an error. So it indicates at compile time. That is the difference. And such language are said to be statically typed. So you see that C, C++, Java, Rust, Go, they fall under statically typed. So Java is off here. Java is clearly off here. So here sorry, not Java. I mean Python is completely off here because I told you earlier that you will get a class, typing system class, where Java and Python will not be in the same class. In this strictly type, you see that Python and Java are there. But here, statically type, they are different. So Java is here, but Python will not be here. So type for dynamical type languages, type is determined at runtime. For instance, Python for here, JavaScript for here, Ruby for here. You see, Python, JavaScript, Ruby are together in dynamical type, but they are not together in strictly type, strongly type. So JavaScript is a loosely type language, you know, but around Ruby, most scripting languages are loosely typed, like PHP. So what do we mean by scripting languages? They are those languages that are used for back end or front end of a web application. You know, JavaScript, you can use it in both front end development and back end. You all know. So JavaScript has so many framework now. React JS is a framework for front end development of a web application. While Node.js and other framework of JavaScript, Node.js is a framework that is used for back end. So JavaScript is a powerful language. You can use for both front end and back end. So Ruby is also a scripting language. Perl is also a scripting language. So Python is also used for back end scripting. But in this class, Python is dynamical type, and it falls together with JavaScript and Ruby that are loosely typed. So you can see that what we just explained, it only shows the error at run time. So this is, you need to know this typing system very, very well. You need to know it very, very, very well. Know it very, very well. So try and do more research to know the languages. What's a clue is that most scripting languages are free type languages. They are loosely typed. Most scripting languages, and I've told you the scripting languages are those languages that are used in web development. So even though Python differs here, that even JavaScript is powerful. You use JavaScript for both standalone, both back end, front end, also in machine learning. So Python is, we all know Python only as the back end web development, and use it in data science and machine learning. So these are the things you need to know about piping system. See where we make the comparison. Please don't mind this thing. Loosely type and weakly type are interchangeably used and means the same thing. So there's something I want to show you here, which I might not, which is something I want to show you here. Please avoid, there are some things you need to avoid. Sometimes you can see a mistake. Yeah. So there's something I asked ChatGPT. It shows me here. It differentiates weakly type and the stronger type differently. And here, he put PHP as weekly type. And in here, he put Python, leaving us in confusion. But I ask this question because I know that here, loosely type, weekly type, they are not really seen to be any difference. So I now ask ChatGPT the question here. The question I asked, okay, I asked ChatGPT this question. I said, why did you say that Python is a loosely type language? Because I know Python as a strongly typed language. See what I said? He now told me, I said, you are absolutely right to question that Python is actually typed, but it also that I get. You see, so sometimes you have to query some of these things the AI is giving us. Because I know it, I know that Python is strongly type, and it's coming to here to put it under loosely type. I say, I know this thing now. I say, I've been using these things for long now, and I've been a lecturer for long now. So I've been programming and I've been tutoring people on programming. Why should you tell me this? And I tell you, why did you say? Now he's now saying another thing that I'm right. So, but Google cannot give you that such a wrong answer. So I said, what is the difference between loosely type and weakly type? And Google showed me he still use AI overview. He still use AI overview. But he say loosely type and weakly type are essentially the same thing, referring to programming language where variables don't need to be explicitly declared with a specific data type. Please, in your research, please use Google and Google Scholar and some other research tools which I'm going to introduce you later. Avoid, you can use this ChatGPT to get an idea, but sometimes try to query things because if you don't know this area, if I didn't know this area, I would have just taken it just like that. So these are what I feel you should know, and I believe that I've given you a good lecture. Accept me the way I am. I remain your lecturer, Dr. Jacob. Thanks for listening.